What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 10 of our modern video series where we pick a deck in the format and run it through some matches on Magic Online. This week we have Anthony, I don't know how to say his last name, I'm sorry, list from PIttsburgh. It's his blue-black Faeries. This deck is a lot of fun. Bitter Blossom and Spellstutter Sprite and countering everything and Cryptic Command, pretty much ruining everybody's day. It even has Thoughtseize. But yeah, we'll jump into the deck tech in just a minute. First, I want to say thanks to both Modern Nexus and Card Hoarder. If you're new to the video series, Modern Nexus hosts these videos both on their website and their YouTube page, so modernnexus.com, and then their YouTube channel. So wherever you're watching this, make sure you check out the other half of their content. They've got a lot of great stuff. And Card Hoarder loans all of the cards to me, so we can play different decks in the format and make the video series possible. So definitely big thanks to Card Hoarder. You can check out his site at www.cardhoarder.com. So with that being said, let's jump into the deck tech. Alright, so as we start off all of our deck techs, we talk about the mana base first. 26 land. We definitely need to get up to Cryptic Command, Mistbind Click. A lot of times we'll be interested in going like Cryptic Command plus Mana Leak, or like Snapcaster Cryptic, or like Mistbind Click with your man backup, that kind of thing. So extra lands are appreciated. When you play 26 land in Modern, you tend to flood out a lot, which is why we are playing the full 8 man lands, 4 Mutavault, 4 Creeping Tar Pit. Yeah, Mutavault is it's great, and it's a fairy. I don't know what else to say about it, but yeah, Mutavault and Creeping Tar Pit definitely help with adding up to that incremental damage over the course of the game. We don't have like red for Lightning Bolt or Kolaghan's Command, which is one thing that I've wanted to try in this deck for a while. So it can often be tough to burn someone out, you know, once they've like semi-stabilized, maybe with a Tassiger on the other side or something. But Creeping Tar Pit definitely helps as being like a slightly more expensive, a little more fragile Lightning Bolt, just because it's unblockable. But yeah, Anthony is playing 2 Ghost Quarter. I assume because he expected some Tron and Amulet in Pittsburgh. We're playing as Exactulus, except instead of a Hurkyl's Recall, I'm playing a second Duress. Just one, because I didn't have another Hurkyl's Recall, and 2, I haven't seen a lot of Affinity online, and I want to see how this deck does against Burn. So I'd like having an extra Duress. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The main deck, the main cards in the deck are Bitter Blossom, Snapcaster Mage, Spellstutter Sprite, Vendilion Click is great, and just a lot of removal and discard. So this deck is doing something similar to, you know, what a Jund mid-range deck would be doing, where it's just trying to like grind the opponent down through like proactive removal, and then like this deck is playing some reactive, or yeah, like so proactive discard and then like reactive counter spells and removal. Eventually trying to build up an advantage through either Bitter Blossom or like the late game Cryptic Command or Mistbind Click. There's a Tassiger floating in here also. One thing I will say is that whereas a deck like Jund is able to execute that strategy because all of its cards are individually powerful, like Tarmogoyf, Liliana the Veil, Dark Confidant, things like that. This deck can often run into situations where you've ground down your opponent, and then they're just able to draw out of it because all of our spells are a little weak in the late game. We're playing 6 discard spells main deck, which is fine. Jund is playing the same thing, but we have Mana Leaks, which are bad draws late. You know, things like Mistbind Click is bad when we don't have any other fairies, so if we top deck it by itself, it can sit in our hand. You know, Spellstutter Sprite is pretty bad on an empty board, but if we're able to build up these synergies, we're able to do super powerful things. Like, our deck runs so much better when Bitter Blossom's out on the field. When we get all the fairies together, they're doing lots of great things, like your Mistbind Click on a Vendilion Click to tap all their lands. If they kill the click, you get Vendilion Click back, and then you get to take something out of their hand again. Lots of neat interactions like that, but definitely one thing we need to keep in mind is that if our opponents are able to help us or like fight through the grind, we can be in a lot of trouble. As far as the rest of the main deck, I don't really think there's much else to talk about. This list is playing Slaughter Pact, which I really like. If you read one of my articles a couple weeks ago on Modern Nexus, is 5 cards you should be playing in Modern. Slaughter Pact was on that list, and yep, the card's sweet, so I'm excited I'll be able to cast it. And I think that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the sideboard, most of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Damnation helps us play the control. We've got a bunch of different removal options for the specific matchups. Counter Squall is a negate with a shock attached, which is great in our colors. And we're playing the Duress. Explosives is good for tokens. It's good for Bogles, good against Delver decks, Affinity as well. I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory, except there's the Sword of Light and Shadow and the Aetherling in here that I do want to talk about. So Sword of Light and Shadow, I guess it's good against the white-black decks. I don't know. It's like you gain 3 life, and then you can return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It just doesn't seem that great. I guess it's fine against Jund. It's just like people are playing Kolaghan's Command, and I'm not really. If I wanted a sword, I would do like Sword of Fire and Ice or something. You know, something that like at least draws me a card or can kill something, or like gaining 3 life just doesn't seem that great. And then getting a creature back, I guess it's fine if we're like, you know, Spellstarter Sprite and then we're chumping, and then we can get a Spellstarter Sprite to counter something later. But that scenario assumes that we have like a board presence where Spellstarter Sprite matters, so we should be winning at that point anyways. I don't know. Maybe I'm just underselling it and I need to try it to see, but it doesn't seem that great to me. And Aetherling seems really expensive. I mean, I loved this card when it was in Standard, but 6 mana is a lot of mana for Modern. Apparently that was the thing in Pittsburgh because Alex Bianchi had Elspeth Sun's Champion in the sideboard of his deck. I don't know where I would bring this in, who I would bring this in against. I don't want it against Grixis Control. You know, they're going, I would pick a Dispel or a Counter Squall over an Aetherling. I would even play Damnation over an Aetherling against Grixis Control, now that they're moving to a more mid-rangey build. But like, you don't want it against Scape Shift. You're just going to get yourself in trouble tapping out for that, and then they can, you know, Scape Shift us. But again, I'm not going to get rid of it until I have a chance to try it out, or at least, you know, go to sideboard and think about whether I want to bring it in. But it seems like, you know, Teferi would be a better option, or even just another Dispel. We're only playing 1 Dispel. We could definitely play 2 or 3. But obviously it did well for Anthony, so we're going to try it out. I think that's it. This deck looks like a lot of fun, so we'll be back for round 1.